Happy Monday, everyone. It's 42 minutes past the hour and it is cold on this Monday morning. I hope that you're ready for the chill because you're going to have to deal with bitterly cold conditions this morning. So we're under our first alert weather day. It is very important that you dress warmly heading out the door. We have a cold weather advisory in place until about 9 o'clock or so because we're talking about dangerously cold temperatures. Here's the view outside looking at Philadelphia. Gorgeous colors out there, but it's only 18 degrees in Philadelphia. And when you factor in the wind, it's relatively light. But it feels like it's 8 when that wind blows. So again, make sure that you are prepared by bundling up. You want to cover up those extremities, your gloves, you want to wear the hat, the scarf, all of that on this very cold morning. Right now in the Metro Meridian, it's 22 degrees, but it feels like it's 13. Butler, it's 22. It feels like it's 18. In Newton right now, it's 22 and it feels like it's 15. And for Livingston, the winds are light there, so it's 19 degrees actual temperature. And then it feels like it's 19 because again, the winds are light. So again, some of the issues with this type of cold is, for one, you could suffer from frostbite if you don't make sure you cover your extremities if you're going to be outside for a long period of time. But also you could suffer for something called hypothermia, which means unusually low body temperature because of the cold. So some of the symptoms of that is when you're starting to feel confused, you start shivering uncontrollably, you may have difficulty speaking, you may notice that you're unusually tired, and also you may have some stiff muscles. So if you notice any of these symptoms, you want to make sure you get somewhere nice and warm for a while. So as far as your temperatures versus your wind chill, it's going to be a rough morning in terms of the cold. We're expecting temperatures to stay below freezing until about mid-morning or so. By about 10 o'clock, temperatures will jump above freezing, right around the low 30s, but it can still feel like it's below freezing when you factor in the wind. However, by the lunch hour, if you want to get out there and grab a bite to eat, it'll be around 40 then. Again, feeling a little bit colder when you factor in the wind, but at least we're not talking about sub-freezing. And then we're going to keep it decent as we work through the afternoon, but we do have another cold night in store. So we'll have a first alert weather day also in place for tomorrow morning as we're expecting temperatures to jump well below that freezing mark, bottoming out back into the 20s. So no teens, but 20s overnight. Here's a check of our first alert radar, though. Looking pretty quiet today. We are under the influence of high pressure. So that's our fair weather friend. Gorgeous conditions in terms of sunshine, just bitterly cold as we kick off the day. Now the flow around high pressure is clockwise. So we're getting more of a northeast wind today, but this high is going to start to shift away a bit. So by tomorrow, the winds will be southerly on the back end of this high, and that's going to start a gradual warm up. So yes, freezing today, this morning, and very cold throughout the afternoon later on. But then tomorrow morning, yes, we'll have another cold start. First alert, again, we'll be under our first alert weather day, at least for the first half of our Tuesday. But notice by the afternoon, thanks to that south wind, temperatures will jump into the 50s. From that point, we'll see that warming trend the rest of the week. Wednesday, no more of a freeze in terms of your morning. We'll have 60s by the afternoon, which is back around the average, even a little bit above. And then we'll jump above the average for our Thursday. We're expecting 70s, believe it or not. So starting out with low 20s and teens to kick off the week. And then by Thursday, we'll be back in the 70s, again, living in Mississippi. So here's a check of the rain chances this week. Not a whole lot going on until Thursday, really. That's when we're going to have a cold front come in. And we have to watch that system. There's the possibility that we could have some severe weather with that. We're still watching the data, kind of fine-tuning things, but we could potentially have some strong weather in terms of storms as we head towards the end of the week. Before today, it'll be rain-free, lots of sunshine to enjoy. Just very cold this morning and unseasonably chilly this afternoon with those temperatures about 15 degrees or more below the average for this time of year. And again, for tonight, we have one more freeze, not necessarily as cold, but we're expecting lows into the low to mid 20s heading into your Tuesday morning. And then from that point, we're looking at, again, that nice warm up. So here's that important 7-day forecast. We hope that you're going to have a great day today. But we do have warmer weather on the way. As far as traffic outside, looking pretty good out there. Check the visibility. It's not too bad. This is where 39 and I-20 kind of come together. 20 is in the background there. That's the Johnson Dodge Cam. And at York, this is the Aldott view. Not sure of the roadway there, but it looks pretty quiet around the York area this morning.
Yes, it does.
They're hiding out.
Wouldn't be outside if I didn't have to either. Yeah. Well, Deidre, these cold temps certainly make it easier to get into the holiday spirit.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it was kind of hard for me last week because I was like, it feels like summer. It doesn't feel like Christmas time at all, but now it certainly does.
It feels like Christmas is around the corner. And
yes,
it is.
It is. It'll be here before we know it.
That's right.
So maybe get your shopping done if you haven't started.
That's right.
Thank you, Deidre.
No problem.